Hello again. We're still talking about conflict resolution. Today we're going to look at Acts chapter 15. This is one of the first theological debates, a true conflict that arose in the early church. Some men came down from Judea to Antioch and were teaching the brothers, unless you are circumcised according to the custom taught by Moses, you cannot be saved. And this brought Paul and Barnabas into sharp dispute and debate with them. So Paul and Barnabas were appointed, along with some other believers, to go up to Jerusalem to see the apostles and elders about this question. The issue that is in question here is Christianity a sect of Judaism, or is Christianity something totally new? If it's a sect of Judaism, then you need to become a Jew to be a Christian. But if it's something totally new, that's not true. So this is a very serious theological debate, especially as Paul and Barnabas deal with Gentiles in their ministry. So they come together with the church, and it's what happens next that I think is very, very important. In verse 4, when they came to Jerusalem, they were welcomed by the church, by the apostles and elders, to whom they reported everything that God had done through them. So first, Paul and Barnabas spoke. Then some of the believers who belonged to the party of the Pharisees stood up and said, the Gentiles must be circumcised and required to obey the law of Moses. So after Paul and Barnabas give their presentation, the opposing party gives their presentation. In verse 6, the apostles and elders met to consider this question, and after much discussion, Peter got up and addressed them. And he reminded them of the story when he shared the gospel with Cornelius, a Gentile that lived in Joppa, and the Spirit came on Cornelius and his whole household. So after Paul and Barnabas said their piece, and after the opponents said their piece, Peter stands up and he speaks. After all of this, James stands up and he says, here is what I perceive. And they come to an agreement. Now, the important thing about this, what we learn about conflict resolution from this episode, is you hear everybody out. Everybody gets a chance to speak. Everybody gets a chance to explain their point of view over the issue. Before any agreement is reached, hear everybody out. So as we get involved in conflict resolution today, be a listener. Hear everybody out. Tomorrow, we'll continue talking about conflict resolution. I look forward to sharing with you tomorrow.